We are just a couple months away now from the start of hurricane season, right? It's pretty amazing. The AMS Tropical Conference is being held right now in San Diego, California. So we've got researchers from all over who are working on new ways to monitor and forecast tropical weather. Top of mind, of course, is the new version of NOAA's forecast cone in the 2026 hurricane season. We'll be talking about that. That's following the experimental phase last year and now includes tropical storm and hurricane storm warnings and alerts inland. So we've got that. Joining me right now to chat about it is my buddy Bryan Norcross. Bryan, you're at the conference right now. I haven't talked to you since our Christmas party, but now you're in San Diego at the conference. How you liking the conference? What are you guys doing out there?
You know, this conference, Bob, it brings in like the super smart research level people, not as much the operational level people like we are, where we're dealing with it, you know, with a storm as it's happening and trying to convey the science behind the forecast to folks at home so they can make good decisions. This is not that conference. This is the level behind that, where they're trying to get from the data to actually making the forecasts and making the forecast better and the ways that we convey it better. I just left a session a moment ago talking about what the National Hurricane Center is going to do and how they're going to change conveying winds, because the way we convey winds typically is with sustained winds. But the thing is that over land, gusts do the damage. So you're going to see a change in how the National Hurricane Center conveys that, and we're going to talk a lot more about wind gusts and how they are different from sustained winds as we go forward here, and talking about hurricanes as they actually are happening and at the time they're happening.
Yeah, that's amazing, because you talk about the sustained winds as opposed to these wind gusts, and sometimes, Bryan, as you know, I think it'd be 40 miles per hour more than the actual sustained wind.
Right. And that's what the damage has done. You know, during Hurricane Andrew, people after the fact told me about their experience, right? And 100% of them said there was this whoom, like that, and that's when the door came in, and that's when the window broke or the roof changed. So it's the gusts that count. So anyway, there's going to be a shift from the Hurricane Center in experimental mode, internal mode this year, and then it'll start being public, I think, next year. But anyway, that's the kind of thing they're talking about.
Very
here
cool.
In the conference in the hotel here behind me.
Very cool. And I can tell you, it's those wind gusts that knock you on your butt when you're out there reporting, because you're leaning into it, it stops, and you pick yourself and it hits you again, and then you're right on your keister. So you were talking about that, but the other thing we've been talking about, Bryan, is the experimental cone that they're going to try out this year.
Right, so the experimental cone, so let's take a look at the experimental cone from the National Hurricane Center. It looks, if you just look at it, you don't really have any labels on it or anything, it looks just like a cone, right? It looks the same, but the math behind it is a little different. It ends up being, if you look at the comparison, you can see the dotted line with the sort of old cone, a little bit different, but as a practical matter, they kind of look the same. But what's really good about this is this recognizes how forecasts, the underlying math and forecasts, the underlying reality, is forecasts are generally have bigger errors along the track in timing. Like the storm might arrive 6 hours or 12 hours different in time than was forecast, but the track is still pretty good. So now, instead of using circles at each forecast time, they're going to use ellipses where the timing is stretched out more than the track error. So it's actually more representative, and we're going to say, you know, for years we've said, okay, this cone represents about 2/3 of the time the track stays inside, about 1/3 of the time it goes outside. Now we're going to say 90% of the time it stays inside this cone, which is just you know, it's better. There's a better way to convey to the public, I think, to have confidence in the cone. It's a 90% cone, and 90% is what the National Hurricane Center uses across the board for reasonable worst case. So when we talk about a storm surge forecast, we're talking about a 90% chance that it won't be worse than that. So, you know, if this is going to be the way we convey these extreme events in the future, is at that 90% level, and to have the cone come into that 90% club, so to speak, of ways that we convey extreme events like tornadoes. That area is kind of a 90% reasonable worst case area where a tornado might occur. So bringing the cone into that and being kind of uniform across the communication spectrum, I think, is a really good thing.
Fascinating.
It is, absolutely. Bryan, I'm joining the conversation. It's Jane. Talk to us about this El Nino emerging into hurricane season, right? Not initially at the start, but do we think there's enough of a catch-up that we could see this have an impact on the peak season and beyond?
Well, the talk here is that there's likely to be an El Nino, and there's a reasonably good chance it'll be a very strong El Nino this year. Strong El Ninos correlate very strongly with fewer storms forming in the Atlantic. Now, you go back and you look at the 15 strongest El Nino years. Dr. Phil Klotzbach has done this work, and some pretty significant storms occurred during those 15 years. By the way, Hurricane Andrew is not one of those. 1992 was technically a neutral year, although there were a lot of El Ninos right around that time. But Hurricane Betsy, for example, that was extremely damaging in South Florida in 1965 and very damaging in New Orleans, and actually prompted the original levee system in New Orleans. That was a very strong El Nino year. So you can have these, significant, dramatic, extremely damaging hurricanes. You just don't have as many of them, and not as many storms overall. So we're crossing our fingers for hurricanes, for an El Nino, to have fewer of them, but it has other big effects, including significant rain possibility in Southern California, which has already been here. It's been a very unusual year with rain and cold and heat and everything else. But that's the talk here at the Tropical Conference here, actually in La Jolla, California, just north of San Diego, that this is going to be an El Nino year, and we haven't had a strong one since 1997. So that's the comparison that people are making here.
I remember that one. That was severe weather all up and down the gut. I remember working in Syracuse watching that stuff. Bryan, is there any conference that you're looking forward to sitting in on before you leave?
Well, there's a number of them, actually. The big AI discussion is tomorrow. I've been talking with our friends that are behind the Google DeepMind model. They're here, and they're going to talk about what they're doing and what's going to happen in 2026 with that, and other people doing AI research. So that discussion is going to be tomorrow. The conference goes here all week, and I mean the talks are 15 minutes long all day, and to take that in, and then you have these sessions of just talking with people. It's a lot, but it's great. This is how we learn about what people from all over the world are thinking about ways to use new technology, including artificial intelligence, to make better hurricane forecasts and to convey the information in different ways. This is how we learn that. This is the conference. Happens every 2 years.
I can't wait to talk to you about it when you get back. Bryan, thank you so much. Fox Weather hurricane specialist Bryan Norcross. Great to talk to you for the first time this season. And we'll check back in with you again in a little bit. But Bryan, I love surrounding myself like you do with people that are smarter than me. There's not that many that you can go see. But for me, I'm with everybody that's smarter. So it's always good to be around. Bryan, thanks a lot,